This article on a new paradigm for accountability in education by myself and Jean Wilhoit and Linda Pittenger is really the result of a conversation that a number of folks who have had roles in federal and state and local education systems, as well as researchers and policymakers, have been having about how to move us forward in this country towards the kinds of deeper learning skills and abilities that are needed in 21st century society and the economy, and towards a more equitable system of education and outcomes for education. And it became clear in the course of these conversations, which were part of an ongoing dialogue sponsored by the Hewlett Foundation, that we really needed to look at how to change the accountability system if we were going to support these deeper learning and more equitable learning goals for our students. And the problems with the current accountability system are well known to people under No Child Left Behind. We've seen a sort of test-based framework for applying pressure and incentives, sanctions, to schools and now teachers as well as students. But in the course of that, given the nature of the tests we use, we've narrowed the curriculum, not only away from topics beyond math and reading, but also forms of learning that include writing and communication and research and inquiry, etc., because our tests have been primarily multiple choice recall and recognition tests. We've experienced exclusions of students from schools because schools are rewarded for getting scores up, and one of the easiest ways to do that is to not serve or get rid of students who score low without incentives and resources to serve those students more effectively. We've seen growth in the poverty rates of children and more tattered safety net without a framework for helping students get the resources and various kinds of support services they need to learn. And we've also seen a very little emphasis on capacity building so that professionals could learn how to meet the needs of a very diverse and in some communities a very high need student population and teach them towards much more sophisticated and complicated standards. So we need to think about what it would take to create an education system supported by an accountability system that actually moves beyond the test and punish mentality of No Child Left Behind towards a support and improve framework that will actually accomplish the goals that we would like to accomplish. And one indication that we need to be thinking beyond where we've been is that over the period of time from the year 2000 to the year 2012, actually our scores on international assessments like PISA have gone down in every subject area. They have not gone up. If our approach to education reform was working, we should have expected to see some improvements. So what would we do to rethink the way we frame accountability? We started from the question of what would parents want to hold their system accountable for? And if you think about it, what do parents want, and kids? They want to be in a school that offers them opportunities for meaningful learning that is engaging and empowering, exciting, and valuable for what they're going to have to know and be able to do in the world beyond school. Number two, they want to be served in that context by highly competent and committed and caring professionals who know how to teach that material well, and also to meet the needs of individual students and help them grow and develop and learn. And finally, they want to be supported by adequate resources to enable them to meet these needs and support the learning through the right kind of instructional materials and learning context. So we have designed this accountability framework, this proposal, around three parts of a tripod, if you will: accountability for meaningful learning, for professional capacity and accountability, and for resource accountability. And we describe what it would take, both from the research and from the experiences, successful experiences of states and other countries, to put together a system that would accomplish this. We were aided in that by members of the group who had extensive experience in those domains as well. And we describe in the paper how support for meaningful learning will require ways of reconceptualizing the curriculum and the assessment system, including fewer and better, deeper learning assessments that are used in ways that are more diagnostic and helpful to the teaching and learning process. How we could build professional capacity for individual educators through the ways in which they're prepared, the ways in which they are inducted, supported, and evaluated, and the accountability that comes with ensuring that only competent people enter the profession and continue in the profession, but also the collective professional capacity that comes from colleagues working in a school setting and across schools and disciplines together to improve the way in which education is delivered in an organizational sense. One aspect of building that professional capacity is the notion that we have data that is available to professionals on many different things beyond and including test scores, but performance assessments, information about suspensions and expulsions, graduation rates, social and emotional learning, a variety of things that represent information for improving the school and data about what parents and the community care for in education. That means we need a multiple measures system of transparent information. And when we think about resource accountability, we touch on ways that states like California, for example, have both equalized access to resources and based those resources on student needs. So there is a base of dollars and capacity in each school, but also the accountability for how those resources are well used, which means in part identifying what you think those goals will be, involving the community and professionals in setting a path, and collecting this transparent data as a way of seeing whether in fact you are using your resources in intelligent and wise ways. And then using that data in a school quality review process of examining quantitatively and qualitatively what's going on in each school as an engine for both continuous improvement and where there are real problems identified for corrective action. All of these details are outlined in the paper. We intend this piece to start a conversation that we hope will go in many directions throughout the country to help us figure out how to develop the kind of accountability that will support high quality, deeper learning on an equitable basis for all of our students.